Katie Pavlich is the news editor at townhall.com. Katie, I learned something today, and also I guess we have J.D. Foster, right? And you're the J.D. Foster, I'm sorry, is the economist at the Heritage Foundation. I'm sorry, J.D. I was shocked, Katie. I didn't know that the entire plan here was to get people credit cards and home equity lines, so not paying them enough so that they would have to continue to borrow. These banks are smarter than I thought.
Right, exactly. And I think when you have advice coming from Nancy Pelosi, the woman who thinks that we should pass bills before we read them, especially on financial situations, I think is a bad move. We've seen how the government's intervened in the marketplace in the past 2 years, and it hasn't worked. So I think Nancy Pelosi and the government needs to get out of the private sector when it comes to the finances side and let the market work.
Hey, when we decide that we're going to preordain how interest rates are going to go or how something's going to be profitable, doesn't it usually become less profitable, and doesn't it usually become less available?
Yeah, it does. And let's not forget the role that the government played in the housing market crash with the loans there. I mean, you had Fannie and Freddie, forcing banks to loan to people who couldn't pay the loans back in the first place. So for Nancy Pelosi to act like this is a private sector problem when the federal government is pretty much mandating what banks and what businesses do at every turn with their customers, I think she's wrong. And I think this is really all about government control and not necessarily about getting people the equity that they need to start businesses or get the economy going.
JD, let's get you in here, and I apologize for being late to you. I've sort of noticed that behavior follows reinforcement. And the voting behavior, what scares me is that, in this wonderful democracy of ours, if you sort of make this pitch that I'll keep the gravy train going if you support me, and there's more people on the train than are on the engine, how are you going to break that chain?
Right, and I think
I am optimistic that human nature will shift.
I'm sorry, JD, you're optimistic that what?
I am optimistic that human nature will ultimately rise up and say people want to stand on their own 2 feet and their integrity. But I'll admit there's plenty of examples to the contrary. If you take much of the farm lobby, which is all based on getting payments from the federal government, in every other area, these are often the most staunch conservatives in America, but don't threaten their farm payments.
Yeah, Katie?
Sorry about that, but I was just going to say that I agree with John Stossel when he says that people become entitled. And let's not forget that the Democrats and President Obama have been demonizing the rich, calling for shared sacrifice. Well, when 47% of the country isn't sharing in the sacrifice, really, where are we in that call for shared sacrifice?
All right.